Okay, we're going to take a look at whether you should use your front foot or your back foot. Now we're talking about the modern game where a lot of players were taught to actually use their front foot almost in every single position on the court. It's my opinion that you need to actually have the ability to use both from almost every area on the court, but we need to understand there's going to be dominant or preferential use of certain feet in certain areas. So we take a look at this rally and we'll have a look at just what the guys do for high level. That's a 2 foot for high level play. That is a 1 foot front foot. That's a back foot. That is a back foot. Okay, so as we watch this rally and I go through the motion of putting the dots on the screen and so on, you just see what happens with the quality of shot and the shot choices at the same time as we look at back foot. That's a cross flick without turning shoulders, which gives him options and so on. That's a recovery high lift up. So you'll see that whenever the ball hits the back wall, the guys will tend to choose to go 2 feet whenever the ball hits the back wall. Reaching, stretching, cutting the ball off on the rise, we're talking back foot. Reaching back, not letting the ball get into the back corner, that's front foot there because he was in a good body position. The volley's often very much so off the back foot. So the shot choices, so it's back wall 2 feet. That happens. When we cut balls off, we go back foot because we can get the angle on the ball, and once again you can take it off your back hip and cut and attack. A recovery ball, lifting it up off the back foot, cutting the ball before it gets into the back corner, once again back foot 2 feet from the back. So it's a general recipe that we use. Attacking the volley in the middle of the court is once again a back foot. Okay, so we take a look at the outcomes and just what we've got. So we have a look, which is really quite surprising in a lot of ways, is that with the play up here on the forehand side, there were no front foot shots, none whatsoever. Now this is only one rally, and yes, you need to be able to hit off your front foot, but what tends to happen is you only ever go generally on front foot whenever you're on full stretch and your feet just happen to be in that area where you need to go. And the reason is because you turn around your hip, and it's a lot of body work, a serious amount of body work for the benefit that you get of, let's say, control and power. So it does happen a bit on volleys and so on, but there weren't any in this situation that were best. And generally players like to step towards the front wall when they front foot rather than stepping to the side wall because there's too many advantages in going back foot with that cut and slice that I spoke about. The 2 feet shots, they were all in the back corner of the court. That's when the ball comes off the back wall with choices. The aim is rather than going front foot at all, they've decided to go 2 feet wherever possible at the back of the court. That was the same with the 2 feet here from the backhand. They had 2 feet were back here. All the 2 feet shots were back here. So basically we're at the back of the court. They choose to go back 2 feet wherever possible if the ball's going to come off the back wall. And the reason for that is a really strong body position. Say if Joel was going to strike the ball, he's got his 2 feet in position there to be able to really get these core muscles active through the ball and so on. We had a couple of front foot shots, and that was because the body motion, then you get your body moving forward and so on. But this is where it just needs to understand the front foot backhand drive or volley even is used relatively well, but depends on just how many times you're in a position where you can attack. Now this is the big surprise for most people watching this video, is that it's back foot and back foot. Back foot forehand, almost all forehands were back foot, and most backhands were back foot. That included backhands from the front of the court up here. Now the reason for that is that it opens up your hip and it gives you deception, and you can hit off your back hip, which cuts the racket across the ball, and it gives you the ability to drive the racket under the ball and keep the ball on the wall relatively tight as well. It also allows you to dominate through the center of the court and cut a rising ball, being able to give you that split second to hit it later and hit it off your back hip, which means you can cut around behind the ball more rather than trying to turn your body through the ball. So it seriously makes a difference going back foot in this area here. This is an area here that seriously you need to consider going back foot wherever possible. It is just sensational. It allows you to cut your racket down across your body into the floor, which gets real purchase on the ball and everything as well. You'll notice a lot of those shots, they've cut the ball off in this area here before it gets back to the 2 feet position, because they'd rather choose to take the ball earlier in this area on one single back foot than go all the way back on 2 feet back in the back corner. And so that's where it's all at there. So there you go. That might surprise a few of you with the backhand. Back foot versus the forehand and the back foot, and just how many shots were played off the back foot versus the front foot. Front foot It's because not much of this rally was actually played at the front of the court and everything as well. But what I suggest you do is just have a look at a rally, any game, any match and whatever, and have this in mind and view which foot is to which each of the players are playing and from which area on the court. And then you'll understand just what you need to do with your training. Because what I see is a lot of is guys training, hitting the ball down the wall, hitting off their front foot all the time, warming up, hitting off their front foot all the time, and so on. But yet I see the match where it's just a high percentage of back foot drives, and it's not the area they're spending most of their time training in. So train in the areas where you do most of the work. Most of the work's done on back foot. Train your back foot areas mostly, and then you'll get better bang for your buck as far as your training and your outputs and so on. So there you go. Quite a surprising video for a lot of people, I'm sure. Hope this helps.